This episode is sponsored by Code Crafters. As an engineer myself, I know that the best way to learn how to code is to build something new. But sometimes it's hard to come up with project ideas as well as find a community of folks on the same learning path. That's where Code Crafters comes in. With Code Crafters, you can build something that actually stimulates your mind while strengthening your engineering fundamentals. And you can do so by using your favorite IDE or tools to code and build your own Git, Redis, or HTTP server in the language of your choice. Languages like Rust, C++, or Go. Code Crafters is designed to optimize your learning experience as it's designed for productivity. Sign up today and become a better, more confident programmer. Visit codestory.co/codecrafters. That's CODECRAFTERS to get started and get 40% off your upgrade. Okay guys, I got a serious update for you. You heard me talk about SEMA and the product roadmap radar. I just caught up with Matt, who's the founder there, and he gave me the latest on what they are building. And my mind is blown. The team at SEMA are taking things to the next level. Built around the core of the product roadmap radar, i.e. code and Jira analysis, they are building agent orchestration across the product lifecycle. Picture this. You hook up this system same as before, i.e. integrate your repository and your backlog, Jira today. From that point, SEMA's agent analyzes the codebase and makes suggestions as to what needs to be done next and what could improve, optimize the product. Then, if those tasks are routine, the agent assigns the task to a coding agent, think something like Devin, to complete the minutia, while assigning the human-in-the-loop task to engineers themselves. What you end up with is engineers focusing on building core competency features, while AI handles all the rest. If you're not salivating right now, I don't think you fully understand what this means. But here's what I would suggest. Right now, their product is in a closed beta, and SEMA is looking for folks to sign up for their Product Intelligence Advisory Board. This gives you the opportunity to use the product, give feedback, help shape the future of what's built. Oh, and not to mention additional free usage of the product, potentially through the end of 2026. So, if that fits your workflow and toolset, you need to reach out today. Go to codestory.co/nextlevel, NEXTLEVEL, and reach out to Matt at SEMA to learn more and join the Product Intelligence Advisory Board. Again, that's codestory.co/nextlevel. This episode is sponsored by Postman. Postman is the world's leading API platform, trusted by 98% of the Fortune 500 and over 40 million developers. Tap into APIs from 18,000 plus companies to power agents that make smarter decisions. Learn more at postman.com/podcast/codestory. This message is sponsored by Melee Search. Today, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And Melee Search gives your users the experience they need with lightning-fast performance, full-text search, AI usage, and multimodal capabilities. Melee Search delivers relevant results in less than the blink of an eye. Use the promo code CODESTORY at checkout to get 2 months free at meleesearch.com. That's MEILI search.com.
We asked them, hey, why aren't you doing predictive modeling? It's going to be transformative for your business. They said, we absolutely agree. We don't have the talent, the manpower. Can you help us build something? We said it and thought to ourselves, we can definitely help them, but we're not going to be doing any professional services, obviously. And we've built a prototype, a very simple system that takes data inputs in the way they exist natively in the business. This is a very important point now. And we applied some concepts that we've developed over the years working with predictive modeling so that once you get those data inputs, you get on the other side of things, the predictive outputs. I am Zohar Bronfman, CEO of Pecan AI.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do next.
Took many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
I was
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
total waste of time.
The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
to ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it.
It's not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Lappart, and today how Zohar Bronfman has built the best predictive AI platform so you automatically build your models with a conversation. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. Don't settle for less when you can have more, MOR, with Paddle, your merchant of record. Eliminate the headaches of payments, grow your revenue everywhere, and focus on what you do best, building your product. Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When Auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. Zohar Bronfman spends most of his time in Tel Aviv, Israel these days. He has a focused academic background, specifically in philosophy and neuroscience. He was always intrigued by the question, how do we know what we know? Which led him to get a PhD in philosophy. While doing that, he also became fascinated with the human mind and empirical decision-making, which took him down the road of obtaining another PhD in AI and neuroscience, essentially emulating brain processes. But outside of tech, he has 3 kids and a startup. He loves a good book in the philosophy or neuroscience space and is a big fan of sports. Specifically, he loves the NBA and claims to be a Knicks fan. Zohar and his now co-founder were digging into predictive models as an extension of their academic studies. They were curious as to why companies, though they were running predictive models, were not making accurate predictions. They soon realized that this was because the AI modeling expertise was centralized at a couple of well-known companies. This is the creation story of Pecan AI.
My co-founder and I, we played with a lot of AI models and predictive models specifically. So predictive models are the kind of models that will look at historical data and will tell you something about the future, which was also a very important aspect of our human intelligence. So when you think about how the brain works and how intelligence is being built, a huge part of it is our brain's ability to anticipate and predict future events at different levels of organization. And we played with those predictive models and we were able to all of a sudden predict stuff that happened, predict consumer behavior or predict market trends or predict revenue of companies or whatever we wanted. And we asked ourselves, quite naively in retrospect, how is it that so very few companies are actually doing predictive modeling day in and day out? It's such a powerful thing. Imagine running a business and knowing what's going to happen and being able to preempt or to capitalize on a future event. And we started doing some research and trying to understand why companies are not making predictions all the time. And we realized that while predictions were extremely important, and when you think about the biggest and most successful companies out there, all of them have predictive modeling and AI in their core nowadays, we came to realize that it's first and foremost a question of insufficient talent and expertise. An interesting point of view here, Noah, is that 80 to 90% of AI PhDs end up working at either Facebook or Google. Can you imagine that number? They just don't leave enough talent to go around. And that's where we come in. We basically help organizations that are not swamped with armies of data scientists and AI people to build those predictive models with our automated platform. So it's a really radical move of democratization, basically helping every organization to get predictive weaved into their core processes with the existing talent they have.
Let's dive into what you would consider the MVP then for Pecan. I'm curious about that first version that you built. How long did it take to build, and what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life? And I'm curious if it was during, the extension when you were digging in as part of your academic studies, or if it was after, but I'm curious where you'll start there.
I remember it's now 7.5 years since we started, Noah, and I remember it as if it was yesterday. We went to a couple of conferences. We were very early in our journey. We went to a couple of conferences and we've met a couple of companies. We asked them, hey, why aren't you doing predictive modeling? It's going to be transformative for your business. They said, we absolutely agree. We don't have the talent, the manpower. Can you help us build something? We said it and thought to ourselves, we can definitely help them, but we're not going to be doing any professional services, obviously. So we took a couple of months, literally maybe 2 or 3 months, and we've built a prototype, a very simple system that takes data inputs in the way they exist natively in the business. This is a very important point now. And we applied some principles and some concepts that we've developed over the years working with predictive modeling, so that once you get those data inputs, you get on the other side of things, the predictive outputs. Specifically, we started by doing that for forecasting capabilities. So many companies want to know what's going to be their revenue forecast or their demand forecast for the next quarter or for the next month. It doesn't really matter. So that's what we've built at first. Then I remember the day when we hit the play button and ran tests to our system. And it was, mind you, a 2-month-old system that we built from the ground up. And we saw it works. And we were so excited. We were like, I can't believe it's working. I can't believe we were able to figure it out so quickly. And then we went to the first customer, I should say a prospect, because they weren't a customer back then. And we showed it to them. And they said, let's give it a try. And that was our first celebration as entrepreneurs. Someone in the real world was actually willing to pay money for something that we've built. I know it sounds childish, but when you think about it this way, you have a couple of academic people sitting and building a system that is designed to solve what we believe is a big problem, or a big opportunity, I should say, in the realm of AI for businesses. And someone was actually in their sound mind, wasn't drunk, wasn't intoxicated, saying, I'm going to pay for this. I want to see this happening on my side of the business.
I'm curious about if a decision or trade-off you had to make in building that first version and getting to that point where someone was like, I want to use this. What was the decision or trade-off you had to make in building that? It could be around, approach, technical debt, limitations, or anything like that, and how you coped with that decision.
That's an easy question for us, because we had a huge dilemma that is going with us since day one, and a dilemma I'm very proud of. So I'm referring to the enterprise versus mid-market dilemma. And let me explain. When we built the system, it was very clear that we can go either to the enterprise route in B2B or the mid-market route. What I mean by that is that we could sell the system with a lot of customizations and specificities that enterprise companies would require, and then sell for a relatively big ticket size, because enterprises can pay for things that solve deeply some of their problems. Or we could say we are going to build a classic, so to speak, SaaS platform. We're going to build it in a generic way, and we are not going to do any customizations ourselves. And the trade-off is clear. You're going to put your neck on the line, so to speak, with your product, in the hopes that it's good enough and solid enough to provide value to masses of mid-market companies, rather than getting your hands deep into your technology and customize the solution on a per enterprise basis. You take a higher risk. You take also the risk of selling at a lower price, but you take also the potential reward of selling to many organizations and making yourself stand out. We decided to take the mid-market route. And from that perspective, I think it was a very bold and in retrospect, a very good decision we've made because it forces you to sacrifice potential short-term returns, but it forces you, on the other hand, also to develop a long-term sustainable product that really addresses a deep technological problem in the widest way possible.
Okay, guys, I got a serious update for you. You heard me talk about SEMA and the product roadmap radar. I just caught up with Matt, who's the founder there, and he gave me the latest on what they are building. And my mind is blown. The team at SEMA are taking things to the next level. Built around the core of the product roadmap radar, i.e. code and Jira analysis, they are building agent orchestration across the product lifecycle. Picture this. You hook up this system same as before, i.e. integrate your repository and your backlog, Jira today. From that point, SEMA's agent analyzes the codebase and makes suggestions as to what needs to be done next and what could improve, optimize the product. Then, if those tasks are routine, the agent assigns the task to a coding agent, think something like Devin, to complete the minutia, while assigning the human-in-the-loop task to engineers themselves. What you end up with is engineers focusing on building core competency features, while AI handles all the rest. If you're not salivating right now, I don't think you fully understand what this means. But here's what I would suggest. Right now, their product is in a closed beta, and SEMA is looking for folks to sign up for their Product Intelligence Advisory Board. This gives you the opportunity to use the product, give feedback, help shape the future of what's built. Oh, and not to mention additional free usage of the product potentially through the end of 2026. So, if that fits your workflow and toolset, you need to reach out today. Go to codestory.co/nextlevel, NEXTLEVEL, and reach out to Matt at SEMA to learn more and join the Product Intelligence Advisory Board. Again, that's codestory.co/nextlevel. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. As a startup, you face unique challenges to stay competitive. You and your team need to stay focused on your product, not your payments. You need to do more, MOR, and DIY less. With Paddle. Paddle is your merchant of record, becoming the seller of record for your SaaS transactions, enabling your team to focus on what's important, your product. Paddle handles all payment management across multiple gateways and methods, taking ownership of tax liability while remaining compliant with regulations across all markets. The platform handles all aspects of SaaS billing, billing models, upgrades, add-on, trials, and more. Let's look at the results. MOR revenue optimization is built into Paddle and accounts for up to 16% higher conversion rates, reduced payment failures, localized pricing, and churn prevention, recovering 40% of cancellations. Their developer-friendly tools are API first with comprehensive documentation, removing the burden from your engineers. With Paddle as your merchant of record, you'll generate more revenue, find and keep more customers, grow faster, and stay compliant everywhere. So what are you waiting for? Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is brought to you by Vention, your partner in building smarter with AI. When you're moving fast, AI can be your biggest growth driver or a major time sink. That's why Vention created expert-led AI workshops, tailored sessions that help startups test ideas quickly, validate product fit, and avoid expensive detours. You'll walk away with a clear, practical roadmap built by senior engineers and an in-house CTO who've delivered over 150 AI projects across 30-plus industries, giving you not just technical direction, but the engineering peace of mind that every decision is built to last. Go to ventionteams.com or book your AI workshop now at ventionteams.com/codestory and go from idea to impact faster. That's ventionteams.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by Fullscale. Let me guess, your team's shipping sprint velocity looks good, but you're still asking yourself, is anyone actually thinking about the why? Matt Watson's been there. He's the founder behind Vin Solutions and Stackify and now runs Fullscale with a 300-plus person dev team. And after 2 decades in the trenches, he's seen the same pattern over and over. smart developers stuck in systems that reward ticket-taking instead of real thinking. That's why he wrote Product Driven, a playbook for tech leaders who are done babysitting developers and ready to build teams that own the outcome. If you're tired of translating every feature, doing all the thinking, or wondering why your smart team is still stuck, this is the fix. Go to productdriven.com/codestory to grab the book and get the bonus toolkit to help your team shift from output to outcomes, like 12 bold ways to get your retros out of robot mode. Again, that's productdriven.com/codestory. Okay, Zohar, let's move forward then. I'm curious about how you progressed and matured the products. You're at the point where you've got someone that's interested in essentially paying for what you've built. I'm curious about how you took it forward. And to wrap that in a box a little bit, what I'm curious about is how you built your roadmap, how you went about deciding that, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with Pecan.
It's like I said, there are many risks and many challenges with taking a product to the mid-market, but the biggest advantage is the fast feedback loop and the fact that you are able to gather relatively a lot of data points quite quickly because you are serving masses rather than serving a few sizable companies, but a handful of those numerically. We are a data company. We obviously take pride in how we digest and analyze data. So we took it upon ourselves to monitor and gather as much data as we can from our customers, obviously digitally. But I have to say, not only, we also gather data in a qualitative manner. We interview, we talk to prospects, to customers, to churned customers, to prospects that did not convert eventually. And we are trying to assess, A, what's missing for them in our offering, B, how they interpret the alternatives, and C, obviously, what they liked so that we can expand on that. I think we are taking a relatively data-driven and informed approach. We have, I think, very strong individuals here at Pecan that are obsessed with understanding our customers very deeply. I think this is one of our super strengths. And in all honesty, once you have a very good understanding of your customer and your customer's pains, the roadmap translation becomes relatively straightforward. It becomes a constrained problem, but a relatively straightforward one.
I'm curious about team, right? This is a big thing to take on, to go build, and I'm curious about how you built that team. You mentioned earlier talent being centralized in a few spaces, and you and your co-founder are obviously experts in the space. But how did you build that team beyond that, and what do you look for in those people to indicate that they're the winning horses to join you?
Ultimately, team is the single most important thing when building a company. I would sacrifice everything else before sacrificing the quality of the team. And quality comes in different ways, obviously. So you can think, obviously, on pure professional capability. That is a huge aspect of it. And everyone always are trying to optimize for the highest quality possible. But in our case, I think there are a couple of additional things we really look for when we are recruiting or interviewing or hiring people. Number one is what we call a builder mindset. And what we mean by builder mindset is that it doesn't matter what is your role, if you're in engineering, if you're an individual contributor, or if you are a VP, if you're in sales, or if you are in finance. If you have the builder mindset, you will always try and solve problems for the company without asking yourself the question, am I extending my roles and responsibilities beyond the formal definition? In our culture here at Pecan, I don't care, so to speak, what is your role and what is your responsibility. If you identify an opportunity, if you identify a challenge, if you think you can help anywhere, go ahead and do it. And this has been proven to be one of the most successful principles we have here, because many times historically, we saw cases where we had something that wasn't working. Maybe it was something on the product, Maybe it was something on marketing side of things, whatever. And actually the solution came from the person who was not the direct owner of that specific area. Because there's always this entrenchment. You are the one owning, just as an example, you're the one owning marketing. You're already used to think the way you think. You solved a lot of things, but the things you haven't solved, there's a good chance it will be hard for you to solve them because that's part of your fingerprint. And then someone else that has a little bit of a different point of view can come and potentially help you solve something that was maybe just even right below your nose.
This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. This episode is sponsored by MailySearch. In today's digital landscape, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And you need a user experience that drives customer satisfaction. You need MailySearch. MailySearch is lightning fast performance, returning answers in less than 50 milliseconds. Yeah, you heard that right. Faster than the blink of an eye. The open source AI search engine is plug and play, so you can get up and running in minutes with smart presets, allowing you to start searching through your data with zero configuration. MailySearch utilizes advanced full-text search and AI, ensuring your results are ultra-relevant with semantic depth. It's multimodal, supporting images, videos, and audio, along with being federated, i.e. searching across multiple data sources. And it's developer-friendly. Whether you're building a content-rich website or enterprise application, MailySearch delivers the experience your users expect and deserve. For a limited time, CodeStory users can get 2 months free. Use the promo code CODESTORY, all one word, at checkout. Just go to MailySearch.com and get started today. That's MEILI search.com. So, as you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built with Pecan, what are you most proud of?
I am proud of many things. It's a great question because it's very hard to choose and pick. I'd say, first and foremost, I'm most proud of the team. I wake up in the morning, I get to the office, and I'm happy, and I'm content, and I'm proud of the Pecans I meet that are committed to the mission, obsessed with getting as much value as they can for the company, for our customers. To me, this is the peak of human social collaboration. It's just amazing to see how different strong individuals join hands and work towards the same goal. So that's easy, number one. I will say also that the second thing I'm proud of the most are our customers, because that's our goal as a company. That's what we are optimizing for. As many happy, satisfied, raving fans type of customers. Every time, to this very day, 7.5 years after the MVP days we talked about, every time another customer is deploying a predictive model into production and starts using the prediction to optimize a certain KPI. Every time someone changes their title from a business analyst to data scientist because they've been doing predictive modeling with the Pecan platform, every time this happens, I get emotional, I get excited, and I get proud.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
We've been around, like I mentioned, a couple of years after we started. We weren't huge, but we weren't small. And I was talking on our company's all hands. And it was around the time where there was a little bit of a climate change in the economy. And someone asked, are we planning a reduction in force? Now, back then, I'm a very candid person. I will never lie or say anything manipulative to my team. And I replied and I said, no, we're not planning on any reduction in force. We are doing great. We have money, we have customers, everything is fine. We keep on pushing and everything is gonna be fine. And then the very same night, maybe a day later, there was a couple of bad news hitting us. One of our biggest customers gave us a notice that they're gonna churn. We had a couple of big deals that were very close to be signed that got canceled, and the atmosphere, it hit us, right? It was a bit arrogant to see that the economy is gonna hit us as well. And I ended up, after understanding the situation, I ended up making the decision that we do need to reduce force. It was a very miserable situation because I was standing in front of my entire team saying, we're not going to reduce force. And then a couple of weeks later, I said, hey guys, I'm going to reduce force. I felt ashamed. I felt I misled my team. Again, it wasn't my plan. I was overconfident though that it's not gonna happen. And that overconfidence is the mistake I'm regretting. And since then, the way I deal with similar questions, not necessarily about reduction of force, but general questions about, call it negative or painful decisions, I'm always saying, I don't see a reason to do it at the moment, but we've seen things happen. This is a startup. Things change all the time, and we have to be ready for any scenario possible. So at least I leave the option of we don't know what we don't know open and discussed.
Okay, Zohar, this will be fun. I know you're very passionate about this space. You've learned a lot in this space, and you built an amazing platform. I'm curious of what the future looks like for Pecan, for the company, the product, and for your team.
Our plan is to make businesses understand that where, say, in the last 2 decades, it became very clear that companies have to run on data. Yeah, right? You can't imagine a company starting nowadays, or any existing company for that matter, that doesn't store, or I should say register, store, and process data to some degree. It's like we brush our teeth. No one will say, hey, I have a business and I don't use data. It's very rare, especially for companies that are not micro businesses. We believe that the next phase for, call it doing basic analytics, is having all companies understand that doing machine learning, doing predictive modeling should be the next evolution of how businesses are being run. So our goal in terms of next steps is to expand 2 major things in our offer. 1, we want to make predictive modeling accessible not only to any data person, but to any person, full stop. Even if you're the CEO or the CMO or the CFO and you don't necessarily have any data affinity or call it data aptitude, we want the platform to be able to do this form of sophisticated analytics for you. So expansion on the user side or on the persona side of things. And the other expansion we are working on is expansion on the usage of the predictive modeling. So one thing to note about predictive modeling is that in itself, if it's only the predictions, it provides part of the value. Let me explain. If you say, for example, you can predict, say, your customer churn for next month. So you're going to know in a relatively high level of fidelity which of your customers is going to churn next month. That's valuable in itself. It gives you the ability to focus or prioritize on retention efforts on the right specific accounts or customers. But if you also had a data-driven, predictive modeling-driven action recommendation for each and every prediction that is being spit out, you'd be in even a better position. So it's not only that you're going to be told what's going to happen, you're also going to get a recommendation as to how you should be acting in accordance. So that's the other expansion we are working on, both of which are extremely exciting.
Zohar, let's switch to you. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
There are several different influencers in my life, in my professional life. Obviously, there are others in other domains as well. From pure business point of view, I have two individuals that have been influencing me for quite some time now. One is my seed investor, who basically taught me everything I know about the world of startups and how I should be thinking. You can imagine when we met for the first time, maybe 7.5 years ago, I was a pure academic. Everything I knew in life was how to do research. I had zero experience working or managing or running a company. First of all, he saw a potential, which was in itself an amazing thing for me personally. But then also he embraced that fact and invested a lot of effort in telling me or teaching me what he has learned over the years. He's been a veteran in the industry. The other one is my chairman of the board, who has been a very successful serial entrepreneur, started and built numerous companies, sold many of them in a very successful exit. And he's been showing me how I should think as a little bit of a more mature company, right? How do you think big? How do you aim for the right vision? How do you tell your story? And so I owe a lot to these two. I also try to, like I mentioned earlier, keep track of everything that is going on the AI front beyond the predictive side of things, which is obviously our expertise. And I've been a great follower of Andrew Ng, who I recommend to everyone who wants to understand AI. I think he's one of the smartest, but also one of the most eloquent speakers when it comes to understanding AI.
Zohar, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world, and can't wait to show it off to you right down the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
There isn't a single playbook for success, and no one knows in advance what's the right thing to do. You need to listen to many voices, ask hard questions, challenge yourself, challenge other opinions, gather data, do all of the important things entrepreneurs have to do. Ultimately, find the thing that makes you passionate, that makes you tick. If you end up doing something because that's the classic startup playbook, or that's what is being expected from you, and you do it without the inherent passion that drives entrepreneurs, I think you're going to have a hard time seeing it through. Our greatest weapon as entrepreneurs is the fact that something burns inside, something gets us excited, and we want to see it through.
I couldn't agree more. That's fantastic advice. Well, Zohar, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of Pecan.
My pleasure, Noah. Thanks for having me.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.